my lovelies, and I hope that you're all doing well today and always. That's always my wish for you from this channel. So here we go with video number, I guess this would be considered 3 officially, not 4. Because the first one was just an introduction. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different than even on my podcast. What were the things that we didn't get? Not the things that we did, you know, all the abuse and everything that came towards us. But the things that we didn't get as the scapegoat of the narcissistic family, right? And the scapegoat is the child that's chosen to receive the abuse for the parent to project their personalities on the person they want to be, okay? Or they wanted to be, not the person they actually are, because we know that they're manipulative and evil. Okay? And if you're watching this, I know that you're most likely the scapegoat of your family, and that's why you're watching this. Okay, so one of the things, and this one a lot of you I know have experience with, is never getting praised for your accomplishments or complimented for your accomplishments in school or extracurricular activities. That is, if you were allowed to participate in an extracurricular activity. So, I have an example, and I know you guys have plenty of examples, and this is simple, and it sounds like a lie, but it actually happened. I came home with a test grade I was so happy with. I got a 98, and my mother, instead of praising me for that 98, she asked me where the other 2 points were. I was little, maybe 3rd grade at that point, and I felt that. That was very painful for me. That was extremely disappointing that she couldn't praise me for that. As far as extracurricular activities, I wasn't allowed to go on school trips until the 3rd grade, and that was because my mother was the chaperone. So I didn't have any freedom whatsoever. My mother is definitely one of those enmeshing narcissistic mothers, enmeshing covert. So all-encompassing, never let me do anything, controlled everything in my life, and she was underhanded also. Isn't that great? All right, so what else did we have to go through? We were not cared for, either when we were sick or just in general. I remember being cared for as far as when I was sick, but not the same way I cared for my daughter. It was more like, I'm gonna give you the medicine when it's your turn, and good luck, you know, that kind of thing. And having this kind of neglect, and I've seen this in my personal life. I know that I have a partial codependent situation with my husband, because he's turned into my parental figure in the last 2 years I've been no contact. And that's what happens. We become very dependent on someone else for that love we didn't receive as children, which is so unfortunate, because most of us have become parents ourselves and have been able to be successful at it. Another thing that we did as the scapegoat is many times became the caregiver for the parent or the adult. So we had to take care of them. There was a role reversal there. In this process, it was maybe your mother was an alcoholic and you were taking care of her, right? There's so many TV shows about kids who come home and they couldn't have a normal life because they were taking care of their mothers. With this, attached to this, is also the fact that a lot of us didn't have a lot of friends who came home. Now, my mother was not an alcoholic, But I still didn't have a lot of friends who came over. I was a very lonely child. I was always looking for that friendship and companionship, and it really never happened. And to this day, I have issues with friendships. We were victimized in other ways too. And this is something that no one should have to ever live with. And that is being victimized by an illness or any other type of threat from our mothers. My mother told me, I grew up thinking that she had congenital heart failure. I have no proof to this day that it is not true, except for the fact that she's 79 years old. I think she's healthier than I am because I have an autoimmune disease. I've had 2 surgeries. She's had nothing. I don't want to say anything that is completely false on here, but my best guess is that her heart disease doesn't exist, at least not to the level that she made it seem. She actually fainted or threw herself on the bed and faked that she was fainting when I was about, again, 7 or 8 years old. That seems to be where all of my memories are. And I freaked out. I was a child. I had to find a way to find my dad. It was a big mess. But just recently, about a month ago, I remember my mom bragging about her cardiologist in New York City. He was this well-known, prestigious cardiologist, and I remember going there. And this is the messed up thing about a narcissist. They can convince you that you have been places you've never been. I went to that office. I went with her to the cardiologist. I remember it. I remember his name very clearly, and I Googled him. Being the fact that he was such a prestigious and well-known cardiologist, he should have been somewhere in Google. I mean, my pediatrician who passed away years ago is, I can find information on him still. So, I don't know what to make of that, except the man doesn't exist. You know that Google tries, if you put a name and you put cardiologist New York City, it tries to read, or, if you misspelled something. The man does not exist. What exists is a designer, a clothes designer that has a similar name, but not a cardiologist. So I don't know. I guess it may be partially true. She has high blood pressure or something, but the congenital heart failure from when she was a kid, that I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. All right, so we are also not allowed to develop into our own person. So most of us here, being the scapegoat, since we are a projection of the narcissist inflated sense of self, they're projecting that onto us. They want us to be what they were not, okay? We're an extension of them. They don't separate us from themselves. A lot of us don't even know who we are, what our personalities are like. I've been lucky enough to realize I don't and didn't want to do certain things. My mother claimed to be a teacher in Cuba. If that's true or not, I don't know. But I became a teacher, and I think my whole life I was just put in my head that I should be a teacher. And I became a teacher, and I taught high school math for 6 years and realized I didn't want to do it. It is a very stressful profession, and it isn't for everyone. That's it. Some of you might be teachers, and congratulations. 6 years was enough for me. But I started to see the things that, started to make sense, that maybe it wasn't my choice, but her choice. So that's about it for today. I don't want to make this one too long, Please subscribe to my channel, like this video if you like the video, and please comment. I want to hear what you guys think. If you felt these things, if your mom ever faked a disease, or you brought home a test and you were disappointed because you didn't get the praise that you wanted, or you weren't allowed to do stuff, or the other way around, you had to take care of mom because there's the role reversal and you were neglected. Just put it in the comments and I will see you next time.